Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's podcast. My name is Ifedi. We'll be looking at Anambra politics, YPP, and the mandate, looking at the post election of 2023. Although there are some supplementary elections, successes have been recorded, and we'll be focusing on the trend, trajectories, and the progress of YPP as a party. And I have with me a special guest in the studio, my very good friend, a comrade, is no other person but Comrade Francis Nwosu. Comrade Francis Nwosu is the coordinator of the Senator Ifeanyi Ubah Foundation, Orumba South chapter. He's also the former mayor of Asatu, the former mayor of Asatu Youth. Comrade Francis, you're welcome to tonight's show.
Thank you. Thank you, Ikedi. Thank you very much for having me on your show this night.
Yeah, right away, because of the program is it's a familiar terrain. Right away, looking at the recent election, your party, YPP, did very well, winning the senatorial election in Anambra South. And here in Orumba North and South, I would say your primary jurisdiction, YPP won also the House of Reps. Now that shows, if you go to Onewi, the House of Assemblies, that's the March election, significant victories. So we're looking at the what I consider the trend, the trajectory, the progressive trajectory of trend of the party since distinguished Senator Ifeanyi Ubah emerged as the leader of the party. Of course, if I'm right, the first senator of that party. The party has been on, but since he came in, seems certain energy were added. Can you talk to us a little about this capacity of distinguish?
Thank you, Ikedi. In politics, before now, people used to follow politics according to the party. But in the recent time in Nigeria, with the rising of youth awareness, the consciousness of the Nigerians have been awoken, and Ifeanyi Ubah as a person is a personality outside the politics. If you're a good scholar, if you follow Ifeanyi Ubah very well, virtually everything he touch turns out something wonderful. When he ventured into petroleum, he became one of the biggest marketer in Nigeria. When Ifeanyi entered into imports and exports, Ifeanyi had one of the biggest place in Lagos where containers bath. Just recently, he entered the politics. He contested for governorship 2013 with the Labour Party. It was the biggest campaign and far-reaching campaign nobody has beat that record. Up until the bettered YPP in Anambra State. And today, Anambra is YPP. Ifeanyi is an individual that has a heart of gold. The problem with him is that people look at him from afar and they have misconception of him. He's a man that when you get closer, you know that anything he tells you he will do, and he eventually pick interest in doing it, that thing will turn to gold. In Anambra South today, it will take two candidates, two political party or three political party to merge to come close. Just recently, the margin Ifeanyi Ubah used to win his first senatorial election and the election, no party, no candidate in Anambra South has ever had such margin where the second person, he will be trailing the second person with about 3,000 margin gap. Last election, YPP got about 73,100 and something votes. Why the Apoga that came second was, I think Apoga got 45,000 votes. You can imagine the gap. Why? Simple, because of the personality of the candidate of YPP, Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi, the Prince of the Senate.
Thank you. The issue of party personality is beginning to be a clear game in Anambra South politics since the distinguished Senator Ifeanyi came to the game. People begin to say, this is who we want before the party. That's the line of, and you think that brought a lot of energy into the party. And today, YPP can boast of being a mainstream party, not only in Anambra South, now in Nigeria, because of his impact. Moving on to the second issue, the just concluded election. You know, there was this wave, the wave that was on the space from the obedient movement and what have you. A lot of people felt, okay, there is a heavy waves, but despite that, distinguished Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi won his re-election campaign and is returned the senator-elect of Anambra South Senatorial Zone. More importantly, the Orumba North and South political area, the landscape has now been taken over by YPP. What do you think? What really happened? What was the factor that gave that rise to these victories?
Thank you very much. You know, like I said during the introduction, that the Nigerian political system is changing. There is this silent revolution going on, and the Ifeanyi as a name is bigger than any political party in Anambra South politics. Labour has been, in fact, Ifeanyi was the first person that contested the governorship with Labour, and his campaign touched every communities and ward in Anambra State, only because of capital oil. When Ifeanyi contested with Labour Party, what people were hearing was capital oil, not even Labour. Now that he has come down to his base, which is Anambra South, the wave of Labour Party was booming in a places where the person, the candidate or the person representing them were underperforming. But because Ifeanyi is the only senator that brought constituency dividend to the 119 wards that he represents, no senator in Nigeria has ever in their first term of office touched every ward under their representation, the 70 community, 119 ward. No senator since the inception of Nigerian Senate has ever beat that record. So when the Labour Party discussion, when the Labour Party wave, the bad wagon effect, the mantra was moving everywhere, the people of Anambra South spoke and said, in Anambra South, we have one politician with a human face, and that is Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi. But that was, in fact, the Labour Party candidate scored less than 20,000 votes, while the Senator Ifeanyi of YPP is pulling 73,000 votes. You can imagine the 50,000 gap of a vote. This vote is human beings. When you sit down and think of 73,000 people pulling up a vote for one person, you will now know that this has gone beyond party politics. Then coming to Orumba South, the victory of YPP in Orumba North and South Federal Constituency. You know, politics, they say, is local. Because the national leader of YPP, Ifeanyi is the national leader of YPP in the whole Nigeria. In fact, I am proud to announce to you that YPP won about 7 state House of Assemblies across board. In fact, YPP won Akwa Ibom governorship. Yes, YPP won governor seat for Akwa Ibom. In fact, the Akpan, the Basi, the YPP candidate for Akwa Ibom, which is the Senator Basi, won clearly in Akwa Ibom State. They're in court. The PDP with their normal politics stole it. But YPP won a lot of seats in Nigeria, courtesy of one man, the national leader of the party, which is Senator Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi. Then in Orumba South, the people that the leaders of YPP in Orumba South are people loved by their people. There are people in touch with their people. So communication was more of a sign language, because in every ward and community in Orumba North and South constituency has the touch of YPP and touch of Senator Ifeanyi, accompanying the fact that the candidate for Federal House, the YPP candidate, the member-elect of Orumba North and South, who is the YPP candidate, was somebody who has similar ideology with the Senator Ifeanyi. When it comes to humanitarian and youth empowerment, these two people are exceptional in Anambra South politics. But the candidate of YPP, before he had interest in joining the mainstream politics, has been doing roads. I don't just mean palliative, constructing kilometers of road with asphalt and gutter. This candidate, this woman, Honorable Princess Chiwennabife, has been building houses for widows. He has a lot of people under his scholarship scheme in schools. These are human beings with voters card. So when the news of her candidates pairing up with Senator Ifeanyi for the good of Anambra South and Orumba North and South, the Orumba people rejoiced. In fact, the community where the candidate of YPP came from had three major candidates: the Apoga candidate, the YPP candidate, and even the Labour candidate. But none of that, the winning margin is far 50%. It has never happened since the inception of politics. So when you talk about party in Anambra South today, when you want to talk about party that has the members loved, there's what we call organic membership and organic follower. Organic membership is real human beings, not political propaganda like some parties now, maybe APOGA or the APC. You will see them, they'll have up to 5,000 media persons to tell the people about the party. But YPP is a party that has organic followers. When I mean organic followers, mama, papa, youth, everybody believe in YPP ideology. And what is YPP ideology? Open door. The logo of YPP is open door. Open door means a progressive route. Uzo yoye. The people of Anambra State has embraced the new mantra, which is YPP. It's a matter of time. Every Anambralian will have a YPP card. In fact, the revolution is going, like I said, it's a silent evolution. And before you say Jack, the whole Anambra will be YPP, courtesy of one man, the national leader of the party, a man who has brought a human face to Anambra political system. YPP is a party of the modern generation. Thank you very much, Ife.
Thank you, Honorable, my comrade. You are in charge practically of Orumba axis, which your party delivered effectively well. Currently, the rep-elect is a YPP person, and it is a good fit. But we're still looking at the distinguished senator's performance in the first term. Some people has argued that he didn't do too well. It was not too impressive compared to his initial contributions before he won a senatorial seat. You know, some people felt he was not too, when you compare his initial impact and what he did as a senator, some people argue that he wasn't too excellent. There are others who believe that the things he did, they consider this sectional, what they said he did for his people. You are in charge of Orumba. You know better. What can you say about the performance of His Excellency? Do you agree with those arguments? What's your view generally?
Yes, that is the beauty of politics. The beauty of politics is criticism. Though there are enemy of progress, there are propagandas in politics, but like I said earlier, in politics did not start yesterday. It did not start today. It did not even start decades back. Politics is what has been existing even from the holy book self. There is politics. But when you talk about Ifeanyi Ubah in politics, he's an uncommon senator. When you mean uncommon senator, it's not something you see every fact. I am privileged to be in a generation of Senator Ifeanyi Ubah in the Senate. Ifeanyi Ubah has 119 wards under his constituency, 70 community, having 70 Igwes. Ifeanyi Ubah is the only senator who did constituency project in 119 wards simultaneously. I didn't say year by year. He did once for the first time in the history of Anambra South politics. Remember, when Ifeanyi Ubah won Senate, Ifeanyi Ubah, Chris Oba of Oga of PDP, Senator Andrew Ubah, the incumbent then of APC, and then Obi Uzo that came from the window. In fact, delayed Anambra South mandate for a whole year. Ifeanyi Ubah was in court. But when Ifeanyi Ubah won all of them in the Court of Appeal, he became the Prince of the Senate. The Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawal, named Ifeanyi Ubah the Prince of the Senate. Since all the assembly, there has never been such honor. Why? Because Ifeanyi Ubah is the only senator that belongs to the whole committee they have in the National Assembly as the sole candidate of YPP, as the sole candidate of the party. He has the right. In fact, he was constitutionally due to be a member of all the committees in the National Assembly. And as a member of all the committee, his constituency, which is Anambra South, has been the constituency most beneficially of his benevolence, not just as a politician, because Ifeanyi Ubah as a man, before he joined politics, he has done more of what even the governors have not done. Sometimes he organized trips. He took a lot of youth to a city of UK for business exposure, self-sponsored. He took some people to Dubai. He took some people of Anambra State to Russia. The sole reason is to expose them and widen their scope. Remember, sponsoring an each person to either UK, Russia, or anywhere costs not less than 5 million per head. And sometimes he does this in hundreds. And when he became a senator, Ifeanyi Ubah built houses for about more than 25 widows across the constituency. Ifeanyi Ubah dug solar-powered borehole in the constituency. He built institutions. So when people sit down and criticize, I just laugh.
Comrade, let me interject a little. Now you mentioned that area of sponsoring youth for business exposure abroad. All that were trending about him before he became senator. But in the last 3 years and that he's now a senator, it appears some people are arguing that all those benevolence he gave to youths has declined. So you just mentioned he did projects in several wards.
Yes. Let me hold on. Let me cut you. Okay. Remember, the last election, the National Assembly election was February, right? You remember? Just 2-3 weeks after his election, Ifeanyi Ubah empowered 10,000 constituents at a stretch. The first in the history of Nigerian politics. The first in the history of Nigerian politics. I didn't say Anambra. I didn't say Southeast. I said in the history of Nigerian politics. With Keke in Nigeria is above 1 million for one. 1.5. Yeah. That's the price for Keke. Then he finally brought youth. He empowered the ones with skills. The graduates is giving them job. This is what Ifeanyi is doing, not what he did. This was what he did weeks back. Call it 2-3 weeks from now as a senator. I was telling you about his trips outside Nigeria before he became a senator. Is embedded in him is a human capital developer. Ifeanyi has empowered not less than 10, 20,000 constituents after he became the senator, not before.
Thank you. The going forward, those capital investments like taking youths abroad to have business exposure, are we likely going to have them and more of beyond? Well, we appreciate the keke and other things, but the capital investment people are looking at, which I believe from which the objectivisms come from, is that traveling abroad, which you have just mentioned, each of them might want about 5 million, according to what you have said. You can see that that is more, is a capital investment. Are we looking forward to youth-friendly investment more from distinguished senator now that he's been elected to represent the people? Are we looking forward to that?
Yes. Before Ifeanyi became a senator, I gave him the name the Beacon of Hope. Yes. It's not something you see every day. It's not every other day program. It's something, a rare gift. Ifeanyi is a lover of youth. Ifeanyi did, in fact, all Ifeanyi campaign leaders across the whole local government are youth. He believed in the raw talent. Ifeanyi believe in building humans. That's why everywhere you go today, what you'll be hearing is Ifeanyi, capital or you, capital or you. In fact, there's no any community in Anambra South today that you go and mention Ifeanyi Ubah in a negative light. You may not leave the community on harm because the youth will eat you raw. Ifeanyi Ubah's football academy. Ifeanyi Ubah is sponsoring some youth in West. Ifeanyi Ubah is in partnership with West Ham. Just okay, for the lovers of sport, we know this. Ifeanyi Ubah is in partnership with West Ham United in London. That's where Ifeanyi breed players. He choose raw talents. Just recently, before his last concluded election, Ifeanyi organized YPP Unity Cup in Anambra South that saw the winner of the match giving 2.5 million, the second position 2 million, and the last position 1 million. The essence of this is not just for jamboree, but to pick raw talent. By the end of that tournament, players were picked randomly from the 119 wards of Anambra South constituency. This is something that you don't see before. Ifeanyi is somebody who think outside the box, outside the lawmaking. Ifeanyi is impacting in human being direct. Ifeanyi believes in touching lives. So you will see more and more and more of youth development program as the day unfolds.
I have one more and last question for you, but just in a minute to be back.
Okay.
Welcome back. My guest has been Comrade Francis Nwosu, the coordinator of the Senator Ifeanyi Ubah Foundation in Orumba South. A great gentleman, vast with high knowledge in politics and critical thinking. You're welcome back, sir. Now you've convinced us that there is more in store for young people. And of course, that name, distinguished Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, has a lot of people believe that his coming has ended some level of one-sided Anambra South, a kind of family heritage, which for some people that is a celebration. But going forward, there is a lot of expectation because a lot of people know him as a man of young people, and he's into a lot of capital projects, and that is a major expectation. Now, I used the last election, he came up, it was between him and a lot of strong names. Talk about the ruling All Progressive Grand Alliance, APGA, Chris Azubogo. And then you have the Chris Ubah from PDP. And then you have also the Labour Party with the waves and everything. The question here is, do you, some people, it is believed that there are beyond merits. What do you think? Some people think that there's a religious undertone in his emergence, his victory. Do you think that he won based on merit, or there was some consensus agreement? Was it a consensus factor, or was it a religious factor? Within these three, where do you think that gave his victory, that gave him victory in this just concluded election?
When you hear some certain critics, you know that you definitely know there are sore losers. As I speak with you today, the candidate of APOGA, All Progressive Riders, is in court against YPP. The candidate of PDP, Chris Uba of Oga of PDP, is in court. Then Obin Nozo of YPP of Labour from Iyala is in court. So you are going to court with somebody that won you with a margin of 40,000, which is 50%. 50% gap. That is the person you're contesting in court. Let me tell you this now. I know a lot of people will not like to hear it, but if Ifeanyi Ubah wants to remain in Senate, all the political parties in Anambra State joined together, cannot take it from him.
How do you mean?
Why and how?
Is it
yes,
by
let me tell you how I
mean. Grounds?
By personality, charisma. In fact, politics is not about the party. It's about individual. In fact, Ifeanyi Ubah joining politics taught me this. Ifeanyi Ubah won Chris Ubah in Agwata. Agwata is his hometown. Agwata is the hometown of the governor. The APOGA governor is from Agwata. Ifeanyi Ubah won the governor in Agwata. Ifeanyi Ubah won PDP candidate that is from Agwata in Agwata. When Andy Ubah contested too in Agwata, Ifeanyi won. Ifeanyi Ubah won Labour Party in Ihiala. Chris Azubog that contested with Ifeanyi Ubah. Chris Azubog is a candidate of APOGA. Chris scored about 6,000 votes to compare Ifeanyi Ubah 30,000 votes. Can you beat it? So you see that all of them joined together. Ifeanyi won them in their own various wards and polling units. So guys, in political system, everybody should have a mate. But for now, in Anambra State politics, in Anambra State politics today, you know, some of you, I don't know where you stay, but most people that live in Anambra State, if you enter motor from, for instance, from Akpo today, and you say you are going to Onitsha, you know, you pass up to 20 or 15 communities on the road. If you take your count, before you from Akpo and get to Nnewi or Oka, you will see not less than 10 persons wearing Ifeanyi Ubah YPP clothes. You will not see. So, in fact, the number of people you will see wearing YPP, this is a practical example. If you've not done this today, enter motor, enter public transport anywhere you're going. Before you enter the two different public transport, you will see somebody wearing either Ifeanyi Ubah or YPP material. If it's not a tie, it will be polo. If it's not polo, it will be slippers. If it's not slippers, it's bango. There's no other party that is doing it in Anambra State. So the Ifeanyi Ubah joining, in fact, the reason why a lot of people is pushing Senator Ifeanyi Ubah to leave Anambra South and go and lead Anambra State is the people of Anambra Central, the people of Anambra North are saying, wow, God, when will it be time that Ifeanyi Ubah will come and be our leader? And soon enough, God will answer that prayer, because the God of the people has woken. The consciousness of the people has woken. Everybody is thinking in the right direction, and it's no longer party. It's no longer business as usual. It's now about personality and Kedinhi Memu. They are saying that the Catholic, the church, the Catholic and the Anglican, the Christians, they are supporting Ifeanyi. Why would they not? The Catholic Diocese of Ekulobia, Ifeanyi gave them not less than 300 million to establish a world-class hospital where the common people can go. The Anglican Bishop Court in Oka, when it was under contention, Ifeanyi single-handedly sponsored the court case, reclaimed the land for the Anglicans, and gave their bishop a befitting SUV then. So it's not about anything. He has touched everywhere. In fact, Ifeanyi gave the Indigwe Lexus Jeep, but not Lexus Jeep, Prado, the Igwe, the traditional rulers of the communities of
Is it
Anambra South.
is that
Ifeanyi
like
shared them.
a way of influencing? Is that like a way of buying them over
No,
or
no,
what?
no, no, no,
Is
no,
that a
no,
conspiracy project?
no, no. Ifeanyi is somebody that adds value to whatever we do. Ifeanyi believes in our community and traditional institutes. That's why he said that every Igwe is deserving of a standard SUV. That was why he gave them an honor. Ifeanyi gives honor. If you go to Ifeanyi's political team and campaign leader, you will see youth doing wonderful. Yes. Ifeanyi picks people up and add value to whatever they do. Ifeanyi add value to Anambra football. That is why Ifeanyi Yoruba FC became the football club Anambra was known for, and Anambra Warriors. So that's what he do. He adds value to everything he touches.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I was thinking that was going to be the last question, but still on the issue of you established that he works with youths. Now,
Yes.
after working with youths across the 7 local governments under his zone, how about the sharing formula of mainstream appointments? How balanced is this sharing formula? Are some people not left behind? Maybe returning all the offices to its kingsmen, as some people have put it in Nnewi, that mostly frontline offices are left for Nnewi people. What can you say about this argument or these views?
Just like I said before now, the YPP candidate that won Orumba North and South Federal Constituency is not from Nnewi. And the people of Orumba South believed in YPP. When you mean sharing formula, if he's in political party, the woman leader of YPP is from Agwata. The youth leader is from Agureri. You understand when it comes to sharing formula. Then when it comes to appointments, it depends on the appointment you're talking about, because Ifeanyi is a legislator, not the executive arm. Ifeanyi is not a governor that has commissioners. He's not a governor that has special advisors. Ifeanyi is only but a senator. So when you talk about appointment, if it's not political appointment, I am the leader of Ifeanyi Oba Foundation. I am from Akpu in Orumba South. I am not from Nnewi, but I am the leader of Ifeanyi Oba in Orumba South. So everybody leads. Ifeanyi assigned duty according to capacity. But when a leader is doing well, he expects the followers to do well. And when you do well, he gives you another opportunity. So Ifeanyi delegates duty according to capacity.
Well,
Thank you very
much, Comrade Francis. It's been a wonderful time with you. I hope I will have more of this time in future, where we'll be having effective media chats, and then so that going forward we'll know updates. Like you have mentioned, a lot of constituency projects. Subsequently, we want to have opportunity of having a physical view of some of these projects as they are going on. And we do appreciate you for your time. Viewers, our comrade has done exceptionally well on today's topic, and we appreciate you very much for your time. Your last words for the people on this before we go, sir.
Thank you very much, Iked. I think this your program needs. But it's high time we start engaging people, and I am happy that everybody is taking it up. Ifeanyi has a authority radio and authority TV where he brief and interact with his constituents. That is the uncommon nature of Senator Ifeanyi Ubah. Then what I have to say for the viewers I want to tell everybody that there is hope for a new Nigeria. During the last election, the people voted for a new Nigeria, and the fate of the people was thwarted in so many states, House of Assembly constituency, and the presidential at large. But what I want to tell you is there is a hope. There is hope for the common Nigeria. The wave of Ifeanyi Uba politics in Anambra South and Anambra State gives us hope that people are watching and people know that when a true leader comes, the people will answer and will support him. There is hope from the Anambra State. There is hope from the Anambra South. YPP is a party with young generation mindset. They have come to save the people of Anambra South and Anambra State. Let the youth, let all those of us who are political aware join the train. Is doable. The new Nigeria, new Anambra is possible.
Thank you very much, sir, and good night.
Good night. Man. Thank you.
Viewers, thank you very much for your time. We do appreciate every comment, your contributions. Please, you can like and share our content so that people will get on board. We appreciate you once again. We have looked at Anambra politics, YPP, and the mandates, and our guest tonight has really dealt with this subject effectively. Comrade Francis Nwosu, the chairman of the Senator Ifeanyi Uba Foundation, Orumba South chapter. We are grateful for our viewers' patience and time. Please help us to grow what we're doing by sharing and commenting. We'll come your way another time. Thank you very much. My own name is Ifedi Okeke. I am your guest. Bye for now. Sorry, I am your host rather.